Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the Imperfect Ashlers Masonic Podcast. All the views and opinions stated on this show are strictly those of the host and their guests and do not reflect the opinions of any Masonic Lodge or Grand Lodge. What's up, y'all? We are the Imperfect Ashlers. I'm Brother Zach. Beside me, I have my awesome brother, Brother Ben. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing well, my brother. How are you, brother Zach?
I'm doing wonderful, brother. So, a little background on us. We are Master Masons under the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons in the state of Alabama, the great state of Alabama, if I can add that. We wanted to start a podcast to connect with other brethren and even maybe some non-Masons. Today, we're going to talk about what Masonry is to us and maybe eventually find out what it means to others. To start out, we decided on the name Imperfect Ashlers because of the Masonic terms of perfect and rough ashlers. The rough ashlers personified more as like an imperfect person, and the perfect is what we as Masons strive to be using the working tools that the craft provides us. A little closer to that perfect example. So we feel like we're kind of in the middle of those two, and both of us, I believe I can say this confidently that we're both born again Christians. So we, as born again Christians, strive to be that perfect ashlar, but at the same time realize that until we leave these earthly bodies, we're still going to be imperfect.
And brother Zach, I don't know if my needle may be pointing more down to the imperfect than what those.
I can agree with that. Yeah, we're probably still a little bit on the rough side,
Absolutely.
but that's where that name comes from. And to start off today, we'd like to introduce ourselves and give a little bit of our Masonic history and background. So, Brother Ben, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, brother Zach, I am brother Ben. I'm a master mason and member of Coosa Valley Lodge number 929, where I'm the current senior warden. I'm also a member at Ben M. Jacobs Lodge number 643, where I'm the title. I was initiated January the 25th of 2021, passed to the degree of Fellowcraft March the 8th of 2021, and raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason on April the 4th of 2021. I received my certificate of proficiency on the examinations on April the 1st of 2023.
April
I've
Fools.
also, that's right, it's April Fool's Day.
Had to add that in there.
And I'm a member of the Birmingham York chapter of Royal Arch Masons number 76, Council number 43, and Cyrene Commandery number 10, where I currently hold the stations of Master of the Second Veil and Chapter, Captain of the Guard and Council, and Sword Bearer in the Commandery. I'm also the current Grand Chaplain for the Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons for the state of Alabama.
Very nice. I'm Brother Zach. I'm also a member of Ben and Jacobs Lodge number 643 in Pell City, Alabama. I'm currently the junior warden there. I was initiated March the 5th, 2009, and it took a little while to learn the work required to advance to the next degree, but I was finally passed to the degree of Fellowcraft on October 14th, 2010, and raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason on November 4th, 2010.
I know you, I think you took a break.
Yeah, a little bit. Not by choice, by by laziness
A
for
lot.
sure. I also received my certificate of proficiency later on after that in the examinations, but I wouldn't even know when to start looking at the dates for when I did that. So there's that. I'm also a member of the Birmingham Metro York Right, chapter number 76, council number 43, and Siren Commandery number 10. I don't hold any stations there currently, but there's always the future. And I'm also a noble of the Zamora Shrine based out of Birmingham. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe by the end of this year, both of us are going to try to be going into the Valley of the Birmingham Scottish Rite as well, too, correct?
Absolutely. Hopefully, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that date is December the 9th, and I'm looking forward to that, and I know you are as well.
Yes, very much so. So, Brother Ben, what originally got you interested in Masonry?
Brother Zach, I grew up in a neighborhood down in Sylacauga, a little neighborhood called Fairmont. There was this older guy I really looked up to, and he was just always kind of watching out for us younger kids and everything.
Yeah,
And I remember later on, after high school, we were going to junior college together, and he just all of a sudden dropped out for a quarter. I'm dating myself by talking about quarters instead of semesters, I know. But he dropped out, and I asked him, I was like, Robert, why did you drop out? And he was like, well, I became a Mason, and I'm focusing on learning the three lessons of Masonry. So that was one of the first things. I really had a lot of admiration for this guy, and that was one of the first things that really sparked my interest. Then later on, I was at the dojo in Silicaga taking Yoshikai karate, and this guy walks in, and we get to talking, and we were both just felt like we knew each other, and almost had a sense like we were brothers or kin or something like that. And we got to talking, and he was like, "You know what?" He said, "You make a good Mason." He said, "A lot of the characteristics you have and the way you treat people and everything, it's what we do in Masonry." And he asked me if I would be interested, and I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not really sure." Anyway, he gave me a petition, and I think that thing sat around for a year or two before I finally got around to filling that out. After that, the rest was history. And if I had to say anything else other than just contact with people that I knew and men that I'd passed, our paths that had crossed in life, would be the history. I love
Oh
history. I'm
yeah,
an old history buff,
yes,
and the history and the all the centuries of information and knowledge that was contained within Masonry was one of the things that drew.
right. Yeah, being the oldest fraternity in the world. I mean,
Absolutely.
I can agree with that 100%. And to keep my answer short, Hollywood is the reason that I joined. If I'm being honest, National Treasure and Da Vinci Code, all those great movies, and really throughout Masonry. And I think that's kind of why a lot of folks around my age and even younger have started gaining an interest in it. Um, so all the I guess the Templars and all that kind of stuff has really played a part in that. But that kind of leads me to the next question of what did you expect to get out of Masonry?
Now you said we are the oldest fraternity in the world, right?
To my knowledge, yes.
We are also the largest, right?
Yes.
And that was one of the things I think that was that when I looked at masonry that I expected to get out of masonry. I came from a traditional Southern Baptist background.
Oh yeah.
Right, here we go to religion,
Yeah.
but I was brought up in church fellowship and all that. And I knew that within masonry there was a fellowship of brothers,
Right.
and also within that fellowship there were older gentlemen that could point me in the
Definitely a lot
way.
of
A
those.
lot of older gentlemen. I'm one of them. Not quite as old as some of them, but there were a lot of older gentlemen that I could glean information, knowledge, wisdom from, and that was another thing that brought me in. I'm a very imperfect man, as we talked about with the imperfect
Agreed.
ashlars,
I am too.
and one of the things that I really expected to get out was a deeper sense of who I was as a man.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yep. Definitely. I can agree with, I mean, just about everything you said, I agree 100% with. And the only parts I don't agree 100%, I agree 99%. So we're right there together on that. Um, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, had done a little research and I'd seen the mottos, all the taking good men and making them better and all that kind of stuff. And I knew about the Shriners and the philanthropy type stuff and all that. And that to an extent was what really intrigued me once I started looking into it. But if I'm being honest, like I said, Da Vinci Code, National Treasure, I thought there was some kind of treasure.
Absolutely.
I
Hey, there
just,
is, right?
yes,
There is treasure. It's just not the
it's not a
gold that
physical,
we're looking
yeah, it's
for.
not a physical treasure,
Maybe on some of
exactly.
these jewels.
So just to clarify, there is no physical treasure, but I mean, you do have that personal treasure that you get.
Absolutely.
It's a moral treasure, I guess you could say. Kind of it gets you closer with your faith, I guess you could say. I know Masonry is not a denominational, it's not a religion,
Not a religion.
anything like that, but our tenets, our virtues, things like that, we do. It gets you close with your faith. Which and that leads us into my final question for the night. What has Masonry done for you? What have you gotten out of Masonry? Go ahead, brother Ben.
And it's funny you mentioned faith there, Brother Zach. For me, what I would consider masonry to have done for me the most is I think it's made me a better father,
I can agree with
a
that,
better
definitely.
a better husband, a better Christian, if that can be said.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah, definitely.
it has it has renewed and
I'm
deepened my interest in the Bible.
yes. And it in our monitor, and this is not secret work because it's written down in the Alabama Monitor. Masonry is so far interwoven with religion as to lay us under obligation to pay that rational homage to the deity,
That's
which
right.
I mean it says deity,
Who
but
is God?
exactly. I mean that's you're exactly right on that. I would agree
Absolutely.
100%.
Another thing that it's done for me is I think I have a better sense of community and what community means to
Yeah,
me as a man and what is required of me as a man to this community. And
well said. I like that.
also, and I know you're going to agree with this too, it's put me in contact with some of the best men
Oh Lord, yes.
that I've
I
ever
see where
met.
you're going with that
And
already.
Lodge tonight was just off the chain.
Yes,
Brother
I agree.
Bill was spot on.
Yep.
And that wisdom, that knowledge that we get from these old timers, and
Mhm.
I like saying that phrase old timers because I'm pushing on the doors myself, but I really need that. And one of the best things that I get from masonry is, and you talked about, is that moral compasses.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
that moral compasses
I'm right there with you.
it's my guide, and I love it. I love masonry, and I love everything about it.
I agree. I 100% agree. The same thing. I mean, it's given me a moral compass. It's helped me to see the moral compass that was already there, maybe clarified it.
Absolutely,
It's definitely strengthened my faith. Um, not so much the faith itself, but the how I use my faith, how I see my faith, all that kind of stuff. So I agree with you. And same. I mean, some of the men that I've met through this fraternity, one, I never would have met them had it not been for Masonry, and two, I consider them brothers, yes, but I mean, and I mean that as literally as I can. That they this whole fraternity is like a family to me. Everyone I've met,
it is
whether
a fan.
exactly, whether in my lodge or anywhere else. I'm traveling to Tennessee next weekend, and I've already got lined up some folks that one I want to try to get some of them on the show, maybe interview them like we've been doing between each other, and two that are excited to have a brother from Alabama coming up to meet them. I mean, they're talking about making sure there's something going on and some kind of work to do, and just want a fellowship.
Love the fellowship. I love the
That's
fellowship,
yes, that's my favorite part. That
and just meeting like-minded men, like
exactly.
we said, men that have that moral compasses,
Yes.
and men that share the same values, the same virtues, and our cardinal virtues.
Yeah, agreed. Yes. And with me, I know folks listening may not know my situation, but accountability. That has
Absolutely.
been a big one to me. Between you and a lot of the other brothers in our lodge, I have had so many folks that have kept me accountable for the things that I'm doing outside of lodge, even when I'm at home
And it's a good
myself.
thing for us imperfect bachelors, right?
Amen, brother. I can agree 100% on that. So that's going to lead us into the final comments. You got anything just right off the top of your head that you can think of that you want to add or
Well,
say?
I would like to say that for anybody that might be tuning in, if if you're a Mason in good standing, maybe if you're a Mason that's fallen a little slack in coming to lodge, or maybe you're just a prospective member, give Masonry a chance. Get back in, get plugged back up. Your brothers need you, the lodges need you,
I can agree.
and we don't want to see Masonry fall to the wayside because this is a good institution and I believe in it. I believe in I believe in all of its principles, and I believe in what we teach wholeheartedly. I love the fellowship with the brothers, like you said. We talked about family. These guys are our family. That's why we
Right.
call each other brother. It's just
Yep.
like in church, brother, whoever.
Yeah.
They are our family,
Yeah.
and you're my family, regardless of if we came from another mother. We're still brothers,
Yep.
and I love you.
Yeah.
There's nothing you
Love you
can do
too,
about
brother.
that.
And I agree 100%. Um, and that might be something for a later episode of why the decline in masonry, why
Absolutely.
there's not as much. I was looking through our history book earlier, and they were having two, three, five initiations a night, and then having a fellowcraft degree, and then having two master mason degrees. That blows my mind
Right.
thinking about
What
that.
happened? What happened to all what
Exactly.
was
And why don't we see some of these older guys here? I mean, are they just burnt out? Some I can understand medical reasons they can't get around or whatever, but it just blows my mind why some people wouldn't want to be here. I love
right?
this place.
And, and a lot of the old guard has started to die off,
Yeah,
but there are men out there that we need and they need us. And
exactly.
that's what this is,
Spreading the cement.
spreading cement of brotherly love,
Yep.
just spreading it out over the social media, and we hope that the people that are tuned in will somehow, if you're currently a Mason,
Even if you're just an apprentice, an entered apprentice, and have done like me and just gotten out of it,
right?
get in there and get back to it. I mean, like we said, there's no gold, there's no physical treasure, but in the end, it's well worth it. I mean, if
There's even physical treasure.
uh,
I'm gonna beg to differ a little bit. There's some physical treasure in here, and and maybe
no
that's
no
just
no gold though, unless you buy it yourself.
no gold unless you buy it yourself. Absolutely.
All right.
Once you become that master mason.
Yeah, and I can agree. There is some stuff that's worth putting in the effort for, definitely. Well, that's going to do it for our first episode. I've got a few little notes here. If you have any questions or comments, I have started a Gmail account for the show. Feel free to shoot us an email. It's imperfectashlerspodcast@gmail.com. I know, Brother Ben, you're not on social media as of right now. We might can change that, but I do. Zach have a TikTok page. It is at Masonic Gent, Gent like gentleman, Gent. I also have a YouTube under the same handle. Feel free to follow me on either one. Shoot me a message, talk to me. I'm good with that. And other than that, we'll be back as soon as possible with another episode. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in and listening. And hope to have you back next time.